Ladies and gentlemen,
are you ready for start time?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
Jus Jase
in the house tonight, and they just got back from World Tour, and I think they got something they want to say.
You now listen to the sound.
Mic check 1 2. What is this?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to it, the Mic Drop Session Podcast. Yours truly, Jus Jase, TNT's most dangerous DJ in the building. Don't forget, support your boy, Jus Jase 868. All socials, especially YouTube. So comment, subscribe, like, click that bell for notifications on new episodes. And today, I have with me an icon, a general, a beast when it comes to this thing called radio and DJing and doing commercials and being an all-around one-man army. This dude is one of the main dudes responsible for me getting my foot in the door and shooting off like a rocket. When I tell you, this man is one of the highlights when it comes to when people say, who were some of your influences back in the day? This name has to be coming up in top, let's say in about top 3 list. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to bring to you my brethren. Right now he's based in New York, but of course, shouldn't be going into his heart. The one and only Ian D'GOOSE Eligon. What up, my brother?
Wow, what an introduction, Jay. What an
It's
introduction.
you. Come on, Goose. You know, you are a beast when it comes to this whole radio game, DJ
I'm
game.
like, what are you talking about? I thought we were supposed to be doing an interview together.
Hey,
my brother.
salute to you, my brother. Salute to you.
Salute to you also. Let me get my smoothie on. What do you have?
I have a little scotch and a little something just to break the break the heaviness.
Protein.
All right. So before we get to the meat of the matter and get into Ian D'GOOSE Eligon, the entity.
We get business. I have to pay for this.
Nah, this is everything on me. Everything on me. Everything on me.
Rolled it.
You know, this is my always was like X-Man, always. All right, let's get to the genesis. But before we get to the genesis of Ian D'GOOSE Eligon, I want to know exactly what's your status right now in terms of are you on air, on radio, doing online stuff? What Ian D'GOOSE Eligon is about right now, currently in the pandemic season.
Well, I'm in what I would describe as semi-retirement after so many years of doing so many hours of radio, working with the like Steve Harvey and of course Wendy Williams and everyone else, and producing all these DJs.
Yes.
Who's producing Bishop Hezekiah Walker, his radio show, and Liz Black for the AURN network. And when the pandemic struck, I decided to work from home instead. During that period, a lot of people were released, companies scaled down.
Yeah.
And they reached a point where I have 3 kids here with me, and I'm a single dad. And it became so comfortable and convenient for me to work from home that I just wasn't going back. So when they asked me what I wanted to do, I said, look, I wanted to stay home and work from home. So I've been doing that since. I still produce Bishop Hezekiah Walker's show. I do that from home, but I'm more or less on my own terms, kind of relaxing, looking for the nearest beach, waiting for the borders to crack us again. You know, it's
We
been
gotta wait a while for that one. We gotta wait a while for that one to happen.
Well, I have some friends of mine who've been getting exemptions, and I'm being very jealous. The only thing that's keeping me back from trying and attempting an exemption myself is, of course, their schooling. You know.
Right.
But and them not chinnies.
Right.
So I can't to bring them. You know what I mean? So I'm.
All right,
so if you got. You know what I mean?
You'll cross that hurdle. At some point, we'll be able to cross that hurdle. You know what I mean? But
okay.
Let's slide into Ian D'GOOSE Eligon, the genesis. This is before even the goose came into the play. Ian Eligon, I want to know about your humble beginnings and what got you into radio and DJing and the whole industry, and who were some of your influences before the goose picture came in. Break that down for me.
Okay, well, I was born and I grew up most of my life in Woodbrook. My mom was skilled. Was very skilled. I grew up in a poor home in the middle of the Woodbrook area, and my mother was a very hardworking woman, and she did mass for George Bailey, and I grew up on a Street in Woodbrook. And there were about 5 or 6, as we call them, combos back in the day.
Combo bands.
Combos. Band.
Okay. Yes, yeah.
In Trinidad, we call them combos, you see. And I grew up with music all around me. In fact, where I lived, pans were made and so on. So I had an appreciation for music and so on from early. But I was a wayward kind of fella, and I ended up as a customs clerk. And while working as a customs clerk, I would have a Guinness in the morning, Guinness in the evening, Guinness in the night time. I had like 3-4 Guinness every day. And Guinness and egg.
Guinness and egg.
Yes. It for some it would explain certain things. We move on. My mom got a good job. I was like, but anyway, Phil Simmons was married. Phil Simmons was married to my cousin Eulin, and my mother asked Phil to get me a job at his station. He worked at TBC, that broadcasting,
right?
Road at the time being, and I applied there, and I also applied down at 610 Radio on Abercrombie Street.
Right.
I was hired at 610 Radio. I walked in, and Kenny De Silva.
Kenny, boy.
Kenny, the legendary Kenny De Silva, gave me my introduction and took me to master control, showed me the equipment, and asked me, a couple of questions, and I answered every question, and he said, "You're hired."
That was it?
Yeah, that was it. I never planned anything. I never, I just walked in looking for a job, and I got the job, just like that. And so, it became, and then I grew to love radio. And anything I do, whether it's martial arts or radio, I would try to learn as much as I can. I would delve, I would buy books, I would,
Right.
And so I started at an early stage practicing to read news, and people would laugh at me. I would go into the news. Yes, and they would look at you, try to be our dog, sir. I remember.
So wait a minute. So basically, you have no formal training in radio prior to being.
No.
Wow.
No. I was just lucky enough to have worked with some of the legendary broadcasters of Trinidad and Tobago back in the day. Leo De Leon, who was the program director who hired me first. Ed Fung, yes, so I learned from working with all of these people and technical people like Hugh Phillips and masters like Hugh Phillips. Tony Gomes was the operator, and my first introduction, it was a very, I walked in, he says, "Young man, you know who I am?" And I, "Young man, I'm no, That way he would rub his,
Yeah.
Is, "Well, I am Tony F. Gomes." And I was like, huh? I learned so much from this gentleman. He was a troublesome old man.
Wow.
But
wow.
I a lot from this man. A lot. I was always cutting it quite close to coming to work, and he would tell me, "You have to make room for when a dog run across the road."
I mean, those are the glory years of boot camp radio, learning from the greats.
Yes, learning from the greats, working with them, because back in the day, you had to be good. You had to be sharp. You had to learn to edit tapes. You had to, because we had cartridges. You had to file cartridges.
Yes.
They would stick on you and so on. Then we started Radio 100, and get on to Radio 100 because a couple of people were tardy, and they would, I started cracking the mic without authority.
Serious.
But I think I did just.
So wait a minute. So a man reaching late for his shift, right?
Not turning
up. You would go into the studio unannounced without any authority. Turn on the mic. "Hey, what's up? It's Goose."
Yes, and why? Because they were sponsored programs.
Wow.
So wait, Buckley.
Don't call it names.
Right. So I started cracking the mic. There was a lot of resistance back in the day, because you're coming from a certain, and so, but then apparently what I did, liked, so they would temper, their anger with me. Oh, you shouldn't do that, you know. But it was never a never do that again kind of thing, you know.
Right.
Until one day, I did a mix. So, you know, I always loved technology.
Yes.
So when I made the first sampler, Goose had to have one.
Right.
But it was an 8-bit sampler. And whenever I tried to do remixes, you know, because of the bit rate, they would not sound as the original.
Correct. You would have a little garbled bit, garbled sound.
So I was always in the hunt for all time. I was buying drum machines and doing remixes, and then one day I did a remix, horn for them, soft man, horn for them.
Yes.
Those 2 songs. Well, somebody called the management. I wouldn't call any names this time. Somebody called the management, and I was taken off the air for about 2 years. I think
What?
2 to 4 years. Yeah.
Off the air for 2 to 4 years.
Yes. I was accused of damaging the company's equipment by bringing in my son.
Wow.
Back in the day, the company didn't have Technics turntables. You know, we had big turntables.
Big robotic thing with a big weight for the middle. The little chrome lever that go from 33 to 45 to 78.
78.
Yeah.
I mean, real museum stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And if they opened 100, the turntables there had no very speed and so on, you know?
Wow.
You know, we were, you know, about us as Trinidadians, we always on top of technology.
Yes.
And so we got into buying. Some of us had like 4 1200s.
Wow.
The Newmark mixers were very popular with us back then, and you had to be changing faders or mixers quite regularly.
All the time.
There was the Bozak, rotary mixers. In fact, someone showed me
the knobs, the knob mixers. The
right,
not GLI. It was another brand.
GLI was one. That's right.
GLI was one with the knobs.
Right.
Yeah.
One, but those who are looking on would know what we're talking about.
Of course. Now, tell me something, Ian. In terms of your DJ skill, did you learn from anybody in particular, or was somebody you looked up to in terms of how to DJ mixing tune to tune, or that's another thing you taught yourself how to do?
I don't know that. I don't know that there was any tutelage there. I was not a scratch mixer like you.
Right.
Remember, I played at clubs. You see, so I played out for every Friday and Saturday for most of my life, all those years, all across Trinidad. And I was a beat mixer, so I can blend. I was blending.
Right.
But I was never into scratching, as you know. So when you came along, and you showed the expertise, and I realized, okay, this is the era now, right? Well, got in 8.9 and so on.
Well, we will get to 98.9. That's a whole gem by itself. But yeah. So you were more or less beat matching, more blending.
Yes, blending tunes in similar key,
right.
Similar tempo. In fact, I used to write the tempo, and I still do label all of my tunes with the tempos and the key.
That's right. I remember seeing that on the 12 inches you would leave in the station.
That you all get whole library back there.
Yes. Crazy. All right. $1 million question I need answered. Where did this term, the goose, come from?
Dave Elcock. I did a morning show with Dave Elcock. And Dave was infamous for giving people nicknames.
Okay.
And back in the day, when you got in, we signed on at a particular time, 5 o'clock in the morning. And when I got to the radio station, it would be very, very cold. Now, I used to get up early and work out in the morning. Mm-hmm. And I did martial arts and so on. So when I got into this, it was very cold, and I would be there stretching to keep myself warm.
Right.
Be all on top of the thing, In fact, I was guilty of punching a couple of holes in the walls. Yes. It was me. But Dave would come. When Dave came in, he started saying the goose is loose, because you see me stretching and so on.
Right.
And then it shortened it, by I guess over the course of time, it just melted to goose. So I thank Dave Elcock for my nickname. He's my guy. Yeah, the Goose.
Wow. Dave Elcock responsible for the name Goose.
I call him Big Brother. I have so much respect for Big Brother Dave. Yeah, great. Many years, good radio and fun, and you have me laughing almost. Sometimes we were laughing so much that when it's time for the news,
You're laughing during the news.
I had to leave the studio. Otherwise, he won't be able to read the news or be curious about certain things. It was so hilarious with us. We had so much fun. So much fun. I mean,
Tell me something. Is this fact or is this fiction? I know there was some talk that Dave, he had to take meds.
Yes.
Right? And sometimes, like, he would forget to take the meds and go on the radio and trip off at points of that serious stuff. There was one point where he was doing the death announcements, and in the midst of it, he's like, "Oh, well, when you gotta go, you gotta go."
well, things like that used to happen. But Dave suffered from manic depression,
right?
And sometimes meds would have side effects,
right?
And felt well. He felt that he didn't have a need to take the meds, so he wouldn't take the meds. And so that would bring on episodes and so on. At one point, he put me in charge of the radio station and left. Yeah.
And just walked out.
Yes. Yeah. He appointed me general manager. Program. I mean,
I don't mean to laugh, but he appointed you general manager. You just walked in, appointed you, and just left the station. This is while on air.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I have to continue the and then CS Day. You know, when he got to that point, he was superhuman, very, very strong, and yeah. But Dave is one of the nicest people that you would ever meet. I learned a tremendous amount from him. He was trained. He went to announce the broadcasting schools and so on, and I learned a lot from him.
You know what I learned from him? The execution of a countdown show. Like right now, I do a syndicated countdown show. He had Hit Parade International, I believe it was.
I took over after Hugh Phillips.
Right.
I had the opportunity to do that show with him also, and I did his countdown shows. In fact, there was one year that I did the countdown, and I recorded the countdown with Dave. We would record things on reel. That New Year's, I had to play at the Rolls Royce on Abercrombie Street.
Rolls Royce, boy.
So I asked Gomes for New Year's Eve off. Tony Gomes was a wicked fella at times. And when the roster came out that week, I saw I scheduled to work New Year's Eve, Old Year's night.
Wow.
I'm booked to play at the Rolls Royce for New Year's Eve. So, I decided I'm going to play at the Rolls Royce. So I came to work, and then I would set the reels up, and I would run the Rolls Royce, and then come back in time to switch the other reel.
Wow.
Was about 10 minutes short. And I'm at the club, and when I looked at the time, I was like, "Oh!" Rushed down to the station. When I get dead air. To this day, no one has ever told me anything about it. I don't know if anybody heard. Nobody said anything. This is the first time I'm talking about it here with you.
Wow. Hey.
There was the count ran way before midnight. After Dave's countdown, and Goose I was up in the club.
Popping bottles.
DJing. So I was the DJ for the night.
Right.
So back in those days, when you DJ'd at a party, you had to DJ all night.
Whole night, yeah.
Today, about 5, 10, 15, 25 DJs. Everybody gets to play the same tunes.
Every 30 minutes is the same song. Yep, I know it.
And he sings the song over, different time.
All right. So what I want to do right now is to, of course, digress. We're going to head on over to where you and I connected. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you how I remember you and I meeting before you approaching me to come to 98.9, right? I had started on 95.1, doing the other side of midnight.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a Monday night with Outlaws. Franco was on a Tuesday night with Dr. Hyde. And the list goes on. And then I remember Brenda De La Rosa was taking us to the various events throughout Trinidad and Tobago, you know what I mean, to DJ and whatnot. And I remember she said, Jace, I need for you to go down Pity Valley and record an ad with Goose. I say, I cannot wait because this guy is one of my mentors. Lead the way. And I came down to Pity Valley, down in Mount Coco Road, and went in the studio and we recorded the ad together. Do you remember that?
Vaguely. Because at that point in time where whenever I feel the urge to go to the bathroom, I got to go to the bathroom. So you got to forgive a brother. All right.
So that was the introduction, the personal introduction for me and you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, years passed by. I went on to 96.1. I was there for a bit. I wasn't seeing eye to eye with people across there. And then I know God was in the whole control of the whole scheme of things, because just when I was about to say, you know what, I'm fed up with this shit in place, I want to move, my phone rang, and it was you. All right. I can't remember. I definitely can't remember the conversation, but all I know is you were saying, listen, you are needed at 98.9. Are you willing to come?
Because somebody had whispered to me that you were not happy. And I said, I had to have, I always said I had to have that guy on my station.
Right. And that was the call.
Yes. Everything is timing. The spirit moves with the right timing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, tell me something again. And so what made you say I had to have that guy?
Because you were at the time, you were very professional. And I like, when it comes to DJs, I like DJs who can articulate.
Right.
And I like DJs who can effect. You were extremely effective and skilled on the turntables. And at the same time, you had a good radio voice.
Right.
And you spoke well, you articulated. So you were like the best of all worlds in one package. And I felt that you could also encourage others, because I used to take time to have the guys speak properly. Because I'm a that.
Yes.
See, the English language is the English language, and we all speak like Trinidadians. We all speak our patois, our local patois. But there are times when I will need you to express yourself in a respectable manner, because the world may not understand you. They may like you, but they may not understand you, and they may. And I've always felt that people associate your level of intelligence with how you express yourself, how you speak.
Correct.
So you were like gold. You see,
I appreciate that, my brother. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Because I always wondered, I'm like, how does someone you to call me? You know what I mean? You know, because I'm one not to. I don't like beating my chest. That's not my style. You know that.
Right.
I'm very humble, and I have a passion, and I take pride in what I do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm glad you saw that. You made the call. 90.9 became a home, and I was ecstatic. I have some visual aids right now, which I would like to share with you, my brother.
That I saw a bit of me and you. You know.
Right.
You seem to have a knack for wanting to do things to excellence, and that's the clincher. You see.
Nice one. All right. So right now, what I want to do is present some visual aids here. I have a little something to show you. This is the first one. Seeing yourself in the back there. Well, you see me in the middle.
Get that from, man.
Yeah, man. So Angie in the middle there. That's the lone female, Angie.
That's right. Yes.
O'Brien is in the center. Mario Ultra Large is far right. Mac Daddy next to him.
Yes.
Curtis Popplewell in the back. You have Franco, who's behind you. And there you are in the Boston. It's done the Boston. That's the Chicago White Sox hat.
Yeah.
And me in the front.
That's our when we moved up to Marval Road, huh?
That's right. That's the TTT building.
Yes. That's the first 98.9 studio.
Yes. So there's more. When last you saw that one?
Oh my God. We look like the Beatles. We look like some band. Awesome. Awesome. Wow.
All right. But then now, I have one that is definitely going to make you ball. All right. It goes a little something like this.
Oh, shoot. I remember that.
The program administrator, man.
Wow.
And of course, the Technics 1200s.
Wow. Yes.
Behind your
Yeah.
back, the cartridges we used to use to play commercials.
That's right.
All right.
Wow.
And the 2 CD decks that had pitch control. Those were, I think, 2 Sony decks
That's right.
by your left hand there. Yeah. Cassette
remember
machine at the top.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I had to make sure you guys had everything.
Yeah.
Had everything. Yeah, I had them buy those 2 that machines there.
Yes.
The idea was to have the guys do the remixes because I wanted everybody to do remixes of every top song that came out. So we would
Yes.
that as a 98, so when people hear it, they would associate the song with the station. And the boy, I was skinny then, huh, boy?
All right, since you're saying skinny, check this out.
Oh, wow.
Program Administrator 98.9 likes to keep his audience entertained and informed on his mid-morning mix program. Goose loves talking on the telephone to listeners, still finds time to train and practice the martial arts. And of course, Eddie God loves to crack mid-tempo and up-tempo dance, R&B, hip-hop, conscious dancehall, and reggae.
Where'd you get these?
Don't study that. Don't study that.
You guys were the best team any program administrator would wish to have. You guys were skilled, you guys were talented, and you guys were dedicated, even when we had the little split.
Do you remember when I believe the entire company that sent this psychologist to talk about stress levels in the workplace and so on? And there was this whole conference in a network in a conference room. So everybody was there. We were there from 98.9. 100 was there. 610 or 90? Talk 91. One of the others were there. 610. And we were all mixed together in the conference room. And the psychologist, a little short female, she was going around the table and she's saying, all right, I want you all to tell me in here who is suffering from stress. And she's going as I point to you, you answer. So she points to me, Franco, Itel D, O'Brien, Dr. Hyde, Glenn Antoine, the whole crew. And she's pointing. So she points at someone at 100. They're like, stress out my ears. Person from TTT, stress out my ears. 98.9. No stress, we good. She go by the next person. We good. She come to me. We good. So she's like, what station is this? She said 98.9. She goes to Itel D. No stress. She said, let me guess, 98.9. Yes. And you sat there like a proud father, like, that's how you run a ship.
Yep.
Now, for real, that whole, you had 98.9 radio like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. It reached a point where I remember I would be windsurfing because Emmett Hennessy and Salandi and I got some windsurfing tutelage from these guys at the time. Well, now we can say they were never at work also, but I was able to. I remember hardly ever being in that office.
True. You used to operate from home.
Yes.
You call me, you call me, Jason, this afternoon Mario is going to sponsor some program. All right, cool. You used to send memos from home.
Yes. Yeah, because you guys were so efficient, and we put together a nice unit, and I did not have to worry, man. I used to sit and enjoy listening to you guys, and I got to thank you, man, for your excellence, and thank everybody. We were a family. We were a family.
Yeah.
No egos.
Yeah,
no egos.
So true. I want to talk about a part where you and I stopped talking for a little while.
Oh, boy. Married.
All right. there was a point in time when 98.9 was making the switch to this Yes FM thing, right? And for no reason, they outed you and put Tony Lee in, right? No diss to Tony Lee and all that, right? Tony Lee came in, he tried to revamp the whole thing. It eventually crashed, right? Before him departing and then O'Brien taking the mantle and raising it back up. But during the tenure of Tony Lee, he had asked me, because he was getting resistance from everybody to assist him. And he had asked me, he said, Jace, I need your help to assist in the, execution of some of the managerial duties and so on. So I looked at it as an opportunity to learn the managerial side of things, right? So I remember picking up the phone and calling you. I said, Goose, boy, Tony Lee now asked me to assist him. And you were like, and what did you say? I said, yeah, I'm help you, man. Then there was silence. And I stopped talking to him for some months. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, loyalty is at that time. It was an issue of I felt betrayed.
Right.
Because a lot of things happened unknown to you behind.
Right. And I didn't. Yeah, as I say, I didn't know at all.
Very, very hard because remember, nobody beat us in the survey.
Yeah, we were top. Mm-hmm.
They never thought that 98.9 would survive.
Right.
Because the money I was given to start 98.9 that we were at the time, it was negligible, and so we survived. We survived a lot of tumultuous times, and it was because we were doing what we supposed to be, what we should have done.
Right.
We were doing excellence,
yes.
But certain things were happening unknown to you, and it was basically stabbing in the back end.
Well, let me take this opportunity in 2021 to let you know it wasn't me going against you. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to wet my foot in the managerial side of things, and believe it or not, it did help because down the road I became the program administrator for Vibe City 105, which was Caribbean Tempo, and I was music director for Power 102. So it helped in my development. But at the same token, he is my boy. You know what I mean? So I ain't mean to step on no toes. All right?
Yeah, but it's all good because also at that time, remember, I was moving back and forth. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was moving back and forth, and I was already making my plans to get
out of it. Yeah.
You see, a lot of things were happening, but I wasn't ready yet.
Right.
I had to get to the studio, get rid of all my records. It was a process.
So let's talk about the journey to overseas now. So after that whole departure of 90.9 radio, it became Yes, which I didn't fucking like, and then of course you hit across to the States to do your thing. First, when you touched down, what was the first station you embraced? It was
Bob Fredericks was the program director at WLIB.
WLIB, right?
It's the heritage station, and at the time, WLIB had a tremendous respect in the community. A lot of people, Frankie Crocker, a lot of people had a hand in the popularity of WLIB. And when Bob and they came to Trinidad for Carnival, I used to give them a chance on my shift.
Right.
So they never forgot that. And so they came to Trinidad one year and they called and asked me. They said, look, we want to take WLIB 24 hours and we need you to come and help us. And that's when I said, well, yeah, sure. I remember I used to run out there for 6 months and come back to that for 6 months.
Yeah.
I would work on WLIB and so on. I also did a little stint on WNWK with Patrick Smith, Randy Bishop, and they were on WNWK.
Right. Yes.
And then the guy wanted to sell, and the Caribbean community did not have that togetherness to band together to buy it. Everybody was working as independent broadcasters, so to speak. You see, and so I decided to make the turn. My daughter wanted to go to university in Canada, and I said, I'd be close to her, and I decided to make I did basically almost everything in Trinidad, and I felt that I was almost at a retirement point, if you understand. And it was easy for me to make the decision. So I made the transition. And boy, it was rough. It was one of the rough times. I never expected it to have been the way it turned out. But I was determined to make it work.
Yeah.
And I did. You know?
Wow.
America,
So how did the WBLS entrance make it sweet?
well, it's all one company.
Oh, that's one umbrella then.
Right. It's one
Right.
umbrella.
Yeah.
And so I was able to make a name for myself on LIB, and I became very, very popular. Very, very popular. I would mix reggae and soca.
Yes.
And so
yes.
station urgent. It wasn't just a reggae station anymore. It was soca and reggae and everything mixed up. And so the record started selling, and people used to come and bring money to me. Because I used to get,
Wait.
I used to
Pay all the money or what?
pay all the money. So I get money from, and big companies, right, would come and drop envelopes because Caribbean records started selling.
Right.
But I come from Trinidad. And Trinidad and Tobago at the time, things have changed. But I'm not taking money to play the music.
Right.
You see? I play music because I like it. If I play a song, it's because I like it.
Yeah.
You see? I play my taste, right? And so I used to give the money to somebody, a boss. I wouldn't call any names, you see? It was years later. I would go to people, Christmas time, Goose, what? And I would say, look, this person, so I thought I was taking it back to the station. They would give it back to the people.
Yeah.
It was I was talking to somebody, and I said, "You remember how you used to come in and give me all these envelopes and all this?" He said, "Yeah, you deserve it, man. You helped us make a lot of money." He said, "Well, I hope you used the money well." I said, "I gave it back. I sent it back to you." And then I got to realize that was how New York functioned.
Wow.
Because people were so appreciative of the fact that they were making all this money. And poor me, naive goose, just happy to be there, happy to do my. I gave back every cent that I could have been.
That is epic. Let's talk about. Okay, this is definitely what I want to talk about for real. The introduction to you, as you said at the beginning of the podcast, you did many, many shows, and I was so proud to see you on the Wendy Williams Experience, especially when it came out on VH1. She had the own little VH1 version of it on television, and she would be always big. Goose, this what's up with my Goose? And listen, that was epic. Salute, my brother. Salute.
Yeah.
Salute.
We worked very, 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 very well together. And we had a unique relationship. We had a very nice relationship.
Yeah.
LIB had. There was a point in time when John Kerry was making a bid to be president of the United States.
Okay.
And the Democratic Party knew Percy Sutton, and they needed a flagship station in New York. All the FM stations were taken up, and so he decided to give them WLIB. So WLIB became the flagship Air America Network station. But a lot of what they promised never materialized, so they put us out. They put out the Caribbean programming, and they went politics and so on.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So I wasn't doing anything for a long while. And then one day I got a call from Vinnie Brown, the legendary Vinnie Brown.
Vinnie Brown, boy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Come see. You know what Vinnie Brown is.
Yeah.
Go up to Vinnie Brown's office. I need you to handle the money of the Wendy Williams Experience.
Just like that.
Just like I said, yeah, sure. And he says, all right, come introduce me to Wendy. No. Wendy had a guy there, Art, who used to be handling the show at the time. And so Art didn't like me coming in at all.
Wow.
So I would come to work and Art would not move from behind the board.
And
so
you were supposed to be behind the board.
Yeah. So I would stand aside, So then, and there was a little friction there, But he was a guy, he was not very professional, and he was very tardy, and he was into the glamour of doing the Wendy Williams experience. So he started getting a lot of opportunities that would come his way. And so I used to fill in for him at times, you know. One day when she called now, she got a little concerned because every time she called, I was there and not her. So I believe she wanted to deal with the business a certain way, but he backed himself into a corner.
Yeah.
And he so she called one time, he wasn't there, and that was it. You see, that was it. And then Wendy and I were never officially introduced.
Okay.
And I felt with that, I would not perform unless I was properly introduced to her.
Yes.
Because, you know, Wendy's a person that she doesn't embrace people just like that. She's a very private person.
Right.
You see? And so I would not go into the studio. And Trev Hollywood would be there holding on, and I wouldn't come in and work because nobody introduced me to Wendy. And I'm not going to, you see? So one day, Vinnie Brown comes, he says, Goose, what is this? Either you go in the studio or you leave.
Right.
Vinnie, nobody introduced me to Wendy. She doesn't know who I am. She doesn't know what I'm supposed to do. And he says, nobody did it. He said, no, you didn't do it. And so we were officially introduced.
Yes.
And from that moment, Wendy said, Goose, welcome to the team.
She loved you, boy.
And yeah. I would go on vacation and she would be calling me every minute, crying on the road.
When you're coming back.
We rocked. And of course, the *1 show in New York radio, and I would be editing, teaching. That was like, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Bottle of champagne every day.
Wow, stuff like that. That's priceless stuff, man. Good notches for your belt, man. Your resume looks fantastic, B.
Yeah, the cooler used to have Puffy's stuffed Ciroc. We had Nouveau. We put Nouveau on the map.
Wow.
Up and drop a bottle of champagne by my foot, going across by. I couldn't let anybody drink.
Yes, yeah.
I couldn't get anybody. She was like that, you know.
Yeah.
What's for us is for us, nobody else. And we rocked, man. We rocked. We had. There were so many stories, and then the parties, the Dons and Diva parties with the legends, and so on. And it was just it was a ride. It was a ride. And then one day, the guy who was working with Steve Harvey, he left the mic on, and Steve cussed on the air. So they couldn't fire Steve, so they took him out the studio. Then I got the call. I had to do Steve and Wendy. So I was Steve and Wendy. And then I was getting burnt out, you know.
You must be. And on top of that too, you used to do the Friday night broadcast in the clubs, right?
For 15, 20 years, yeah. Yeah. From the
Shadow nightclub. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's not go there, okay.
Wow. All right, we're moving right along, man. Let's do a little something here. I want to show you some pictures, and I need you to give me some context behind these pictures I'm about to show you. All right? You ready for it?
I don't remember too much, okay?
Let's begin. All right, we're almost done. I want to show you a couple pictures. You let me know what was going on at that particular point. So let's begin. We're starting with this one.
Oh no. Denise is now she's in she's in California. Yeah. Denise is doing right.
This is Denise who? Who's this?
Huh? Just Denise, please.
Okay, all right. I remember back that's the classic Chris Tambu Herbert beret have on there.
Yes. You know, I love caps. I love hats.
Right.
So I wore a hat. Always wore a cap. Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, we going again. This one.
Okay. This was taken at the studio at WBLS studio.
Okay.
At the WBS. It was taken at the WBLS studio.
And I see you have some signatures on your T-shirt. That was what you.
That T-shirt, when I did the shadow for about 15, 20 years, right? On
Right.
Friday nights first, and then we moved to Saturday nights on BLS.
Yeah.
When we gave Hot 97 the Friday nights, and then things started getting very crazy at the club.
Right.
Then the cops shut us down.
Mm-hmm.
That T-shirt has the signatures of all the DJs, a lot of celebrities on that shirt. Yeah, and I made the mistake of wearing it and washing it.
No.
Yeah.
Nah, man, you can't do that. You can't. Oh, Lord.
I know. Yeah. I have legends. That shirt, man.
Wow. All right, let's continue. I have some more icons in hip hop here, boy. KRS-One and Marley Marl.
Yes. Well, as you know, KRS-One, Trini Roots.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Legend KRS, a very, very brilliant brother.
Yes.
And one of the most explosive and efficient masters of the mic.
Yes.
And the legendary Marley Marl there.
Yeah.
Marley did. I handled Friday nights with the DJs. Louis Vega, Kevin Hedge.
Yes.
And Marley also. And Marley also ended up, I think he's still doing the middays at BLS now.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
So through Marley, I met LL Cool J, and of course all the legends of hip hop. This has so much history. This man has so much. I mean, he is a trove of knowledge when it comes to hip hop, the roots of hip hop, and skill on the turntables, man.
Yes.
Very, very cool. We are very, very good friends. We will always be good friends. But that's the legendary Marley Marl, and of course, my boy, the KRS-One.
All right, we're going again. But we see Marley in the back. Cool DJ Red Alert.
Cool DJ Red Alert. And your boy.
And my boy, Chuck Chill Out. On the right. Big up the Chuck.
Yeah, man. Chuck now has 2 hours on BLS now. So he's big in the dance. And nice. I remember back in the day, Chuck, as you know, was a rebel. And Chuck and you were good.
Yeah,
good friends.
that's my dubs. That's my dog. Yeah.
Right. I remember Chuck. Chuck broke a lot of records, and he had this record. And Vinny told him not to play the record on the air.
Okay.
Right, because the record was not a record that was.
It wasn't radio worthy.
No, it was radio worthy. It was very good, but it was not a released record that would have Chuck. Right, and it never went through any round. You see, and so Vinny had told Chuck not to play. So I'm there at the board. Chuck scratched, and well, you know, when Chuck was building, right? I mean, legendary, you know. And then Vinny just down the car. So Vinny coming down the corridor and said, "You open the door. Out, Goose." He put Chuck out, right? Wow. Chuck, told you to play. This is how rock back in the day, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember one time with the Shadow, right? Chuck would come on after we got off, right? Kevin, Sugar Daddy and I. Yeah. And Chuck, I used to stick around and, have fun for a while and so on. And Chuck did something or played some record that somebody in the club did not like. And Chuck cussed them out in the microphone.
Oh, my God. Chuck the front of the...
And he has a powerful voice, man.
Yeah.
So Stephen Giuliani came up and oh God, they used to fire Chuck so often and then hire him back. I love Chuck.
Big up Chuck Chill Out, man. DJ Chuck Chill Out. You understand?
You understand? If Chuck, you got a friend for life. Chuck will do anything for you if you are his friend. Yeah. You know that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll do anything for that brother, man. Yeah. Man. Yeah.
All right. We continue with a couple more and then we're going to wrap things up. Let's see what we have here now. Boom. Let's see who we have here. Bam. LL Cool J and Biz Markie.
Biz Markie, yes.
Get better, Biz. We want to see you better, Biz.
Yes. Biz, the legendary Biz. Love my son, man. Nice. LL Cool J still works out every day, In fact, we do every year, LL's pastor, we go out there and give at Christmas time, we give gifts and toys and things for all of the children, and LL is always there.
Okay.
Yeah, every year, always giving back to the community. Yeah. Biz, get better soon, my brother.
Yes, man. Get
Boy,
better,
I tell you,
Biz. Yeah, man.
fellow man, battling it.
Your fellow Mount Vernonite,
Yeah.
Chocolate Boy Wonder Pete Rock.
And listen, man, one of the greatest, one of the coolest brothers, one of the greatest rappers, one of the coolest brothers. Yeah. What's up, Pete?
Pete, boy, Pete. Have more. We have more.
Oh, your boy.
Kanye West.
Yeah.
This is old Kanye. Is he Kanye I liked?
Yeah. Yes. And then he, what Kanye has, and I do believe his bipolar situation, he's so talented and so creative that sometimes he morphs from being extremely creative to being crazy.
Yes.
Cannot
Yes.
where the line is,
Yeah.
But I think for him, it all broke down when his mother died, because his mother was his rock.
Right.
He lost that rock, and of course Kim being a wife, she tried her best. She tried. She held on to him for a long time.
Yeah.
But no one could replace his mother. I think that's his thing there. The loss of his mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That dude is alone. We gotta watch him.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Taking it regional now.
Sister Marcia.
Marcia, boy.
Our most beautiful person, one of the most beautiful people you could ever meet, man. Such a loving person, man. I love her, Sister Marcia. Yeah.
Marcia Griffith, boy. All right, we have another one.
Okay.
Robin Gibbons, man.
Yes. Very down to earth, very nice, in many ways. Very nice. Robin is she's regular people's brother. Regular people.
Man. Yes, man.
Mm-hmm.
We have two more, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Two more. Let me see if I could get it quickly here for you. Bam.
Respect to my brother. I take
Colin
a knee.
Kaepernick.
Yeah. Colin's lady works at Hot 97 also.
Mm-hmm.
So we would talk and have.
That's Nessa.
Yes.
Nessa.
Oh, you are well informed, son.
Listen, I always inform my brother. I'm always informed. I'm always on top of the game. You know me ever since.
Yeah. Colin, very, very, very deep, and it's unfortunate what they did to him. But,
yes.
But we should stand by people like Colin, because he's a giver. He's a giver, and it's from the heart,
Yeah. All right, one final one. This one is be taking it to Trinidad and Tobago, another icon, and I can't wait to have him on the podcast as well. Goes like this.
My brother.
The King Papa Rocky, boy.
King Papa Rocky.
Salute.
King Papa Rocky. Himself and Dr. Hyde are some of the most genuine people you would ever meet. Papa Rocky knows nothing but love. He's real. Papa Rocky had his issue with COVID, as you would know.
Yes, recently, yeah.
And thank God, the brother survived, and he would call me, "Who's taking your zinc? You're taking your vitamins? Make sure them children take your vitamins,
Right.
But love, yeah, man. Yeah, big respect, man.
For real.
These are guys I grew up listening to and learning from, you know what I mean? These are selector, man like Alan Diaz and them. Alan Diaz.
Alan, boy.
And these guys never paid no much attention to scratching or beat mixing. But when it comes to it, oh my God.
And selection of songs.
Yes. And to me, that's the mark of a good DJ, Be a selector. A lot of people want to play what everyone else plays today. But these guys were people who would pick a tune and play it, because they felt it, That's talent, like yourself, bro.
Salute, my brother. Salute. One more question before we wrap things up, man. And I know you talked about, wanting to come back and getting the exemption and whatnot, as far as the kids to come and be a part of being swimming in the beach and all that. But do you miss Trinidad and Tobago? Do you think at the end of it all, when you really say, all right, I think I'm done with this chapter of radio and the whole industry, do you think you'll want to retire back home here? Do you miss Trinidad and Tobago that much to come back? Or you find where you're at over there in the United States?
Well, I'm in the position where I can do all and do both. You know, I would certainly love to retire to Trinidad and Tobago. One of the issues I have that bothered me for many years is the pricing of goods and commodities in Trinidad and Tobago. I think the people of Trinidad and Tobago deserves somebody to help them, because the business people have markups as much as 1,000%.
Yeah.
And nobody to control that. Then the banks now, to me, they're predatory in nature, you know. And so every service you pay for, everything you want at a bank, you pay a lot for. And I think that Trinidad and Tobago needs a different type of approach when it comes to service for the people. And then two things have changed. So I hear complaints about certain services, you know, and that concerns me, because when you get this, you want to make sure that certain things are right, you see. And when you hear that you need to fly out for treatments and so on, then that bothers me, because we have the potential and the ability to be. I mean, we are third world, but actually Trinidad has first world capabilities. You know, Trinidad has done so well with this COVID situation. There is still a lot of misinformation that people swallow, unfortunately, but that is happening all over the world. You know, social media has made it easy for people to spread incorrect information, and for people who don't know to sound like they know. You know, but I guess I would love to retire to Trinidad, but I think I would retire to a couple of places.
Right. Trinidad being one of them.
Yeah. You know.
Listen, the purpose of this podcast was basically to give the people who made a difference in my life, my career, you know what I mean? Give them their roses to smell while they could still smell them. You know what I'm saying? Just as you see, we had the scares with Papa Rocky almost going. Earlier this year, we had the scare with Dr. Hyde almost going. And I was like, you know what? I can't wait anymore. I have to do this. That's why this project came out. And I was like, I'm gung-ho to make sure that I salute the generals that made a difference, that made an impact, and of course, left a huge, indelible mark in Trinidad and Tobago regarding the industry, whether it be radio, DJing, partying, the whole music industry. D'GOOSE ELIGON, you are one of the greats. I humbly salute you, my brother.
Well, man, I'm very humbled by that you've said. I appreciate it. I thank you very, very much. But, you know, I always say, I don't do anything, you know. It's you guys who have done and made me quite proud. I'm very, very proud of you guys, the excellence that you've shown, and you still continue to show. You're still doing it. You're still being innovative. You're still being kind. You know, and the respect that you're showing now, it's mutual, you know, and I love you, brother. And I may not be able to scratch like you. Only that's still real good looking like you. So, but no, it's just a love, Jason. I love where you are. I love what you're doing, and I do appreciate what you have done tonight. And I do appreciate the conversation. You brought back a lot of fond memories, man.
Yeah, man. You as well. You as well, my brother. You as well.
Did your work, man. You're proud. Thank you.
Yes, man. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for one of my brethren, D'GOOSE ELIGON. Yeah, I'll finish it off. Yes, indeed. My brother, salute.
Bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been, of course, the Mic Drop Sessions. Yours truly, Jus Jase in the building. The podcast is on every other Wednesday. Don't forget, support me, Jus Jase 868 on all my socials, all right? Especially here on YouTube, Jus Jase 868. Subscribe, like, share, comment, click that bell for notifications. We'll come back with another episode pretty soon. Until next time, I'm Jus Jase. Salute.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Are you ready for start time?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
Jus Jase.
in the house tonight, and they just got back from World Tour, and I think they got something they want to say.
You now listen to the sound.
Mic check 1, 2, what is this?